retired from that, I'm sorry. And if you are seeking some sort of patronage from me because of my position in the State House, I cannot and will not oblige you. If, however, you want to hear some of my life story, I'd be happy to tell you a few things.
I think we'd appreciate that, Doctor.
You might find it of some interest. Come a little closer. Don't be bashful. That's my wife there. She doesn't like that. Thank you, thank you. I came from the Keystone State. Born there in 1815 and educated my early years in the medical profession spent there until I decided to come to Cincinnati to further my education. That's where I met my wife. And we settled here in Warren County, first in Rochester and later in Morrow, and then on to Lebanon. And then it dawned on me that instead of helping one person at a time, that perhaps there was a way to help many. And so I became involved in politics. Primarily in the bid for John Fremont's presidential campaign. Unsuccessful though it was, I got the fever. I bought the local paper here and then decided I should run myself. And I did successfully until I was called home to be a judge here in the county for a brief period of time. And then back to the State House, where I served with distinction throughout the Civil War. I became known as the soldier's friend, having raised a substantial amount of money for the benefit of those women and children left behind while their men were off fighting. After the war, the governor asked me if I wouldn't take a position. And so, at his bequest, I moved for 1 year to the Washington Territory, which you would now call the state of Washington. I served there for just a year, briefly. Came back once again, was a part of the State House, and then had the very great honor of serving for 5 years in the Hawaiian Kingdom. Yes, what a place. The Sandwich Islands, as they were known at one time. And I feel that I was able to make a big difference there. People, I feel, held me very close to their hearts. I came back and again was in the state legislature, where I took a strong stand against drink. The temperance people knew me as their friend, and I levied a tax, an annual tax against saloonists. Challenged in the state court it was 3 times, defeated every time because it was just. Finally, my final bid for the State House, sadly I lost. I couldn't believe it, but I decided that would be the end of my political career. And my wife and I stayed here until our final days, and I passed on, as I will now do